Hello, everyone. This is week number 37 of my 52-week challenge to do a live stream every single week on LinkedIn. I'm here with Brent Edwards from Canada, Toronto, Canada, and today we'll be talking about professional networking for newcomers. How are you doing today, Brent?
Steven, I'm doing just fine. I've been looking forward to being on your show. I admire and been following all the work you've been doing on LinkedIn and social media, and I just really admire you putting yourself out there and making use of all these new social medias to share the word and inspire other people. So, thank you very much for having me on your show.
Yeah, I appreciate all those kind words. And I can't do these live streams without amazing guests just like you. So it's hard to do one solo, but having a guest just makes it so much easier. It's just like a conversation, and I mean, with all these, this is number 37. We've covered a variety of topics, and we did cover networking in the past, but this one's a little more interesting. Talk about newcomers being in a new place. So I'm really excited about the topic today.
Wonderful. Yes, it's something that's really important for people looking to reestablish their careers, especially in a new place, a new country, a new city. So happy to speak about it and share some ideas.
And if you're watching, leave a comment on where you're watching from. Brent is in Toronto. I'm on vacation. It seems like I'm on vacation every other week here, but I'm on vacation in Mendocino County for Mendocino County in California for my birthday here. So let's get right into our topic, Brent. And first of all, let's talk about our main topic. How do you network in a new place?
Sure. So I guess just a bit of background. So I've been involved with professional networking my entire career. I have a background, about 30 years plus in product development, marketing, and business development in financial services, travel, the market research industry. So I've had experience moving between a lot of different industries. And one thing that I feel very strongly about, and this is where I've started my passion project, which is called Brent Canada Experiences, is really to help newcomers to Canada with the number one challenge that they have with reestablishing their careers in a new country, which is the lack of a professional network. So something that I run workshops on, speaking opportunities, and being on podcasts like yourself. So networking in a new place is really important. A lot of the people that I work with in Toronto, because Toronto is a very multicultural city, as is Santa Clara, San Francisco, the Bay Area, where you are, Stephen. And a lot of people who I'm working with have all kinds of amazing credentials, degrees, tremendous experience, but they really don't have the social connections or social fabric to work with. So that's one of the reasons why networking is so important, because there's the hidden job market. There's also just building relationships, learning to build rapport, understanding the business culture. And the best way to learn about it and the best way to take advantage of it is through professional networking. So, in terms of networking, it really depends on what you're looking to achieve in the new place. Some people are coming and they have a specific career that they want to follow. So that really leads to joining different professional networks, as there are many in the Bay Area, as there are in the Greater Toronto Area. I think in pre-COVID, there were about 25,000 networking events of some sort in the Greater Toronto Area each year, and I'm sure there's that many for a lot of the cities where your viewers are. So understanding what priorities are. Are you looking to follow your existing career? Are you looking to change industries that you're involved in? Is it a case that you're looking to potentially go off on your own and start your own business? Those will derive some of the strategy you have. And really, picking a strategy is really the most important place to start. So I'll pause there for a sec, but that's kind of the starting point, is really having a strategy for your networking approach.
Yeah, you covered a lot of great points there, and you're talking about there's a lot of networking events, and now with COVID, a lot of them are done virtually and not in person. But there's a lot of different resources out there. You could just go on Facebook and find different networking groups in a new city. There's just like networking groups, just based on location on Facebook. That's a good place to start, and you can join a lot of different events. And you started talking about a little bit about strategy. I've lived in the San Francisco Bay Area my whole life, but if I moved somewhere else, I would just go on LinkedIn. If I'm looking for project manager opportunities, I'll just look up project managers in, let's say, Toronto, and start making there. Send people connection requests. Ask them what did they do, like how did they get their, what did they do at their company, what kind of opportunities out there, and just start building those relationships. Do you have anything else you want to add to that? Just how to how to create that strategy.
Yeah, exactly. So a lot of, it's figuring out basically what your game plan is. So when there's just so many opportunities out there, you really need to kind of figure out how you're going to approach it, or else you could end up burning a lot of cycles and going to events where they may not necessarily be beneficial for you. So a lot of it is figuring out, okay, so with my current career, am I looking to stay in my current occupation, my current profession, or am I looking to change my profession? Am I looking to stay in my current industry, or am I looking to change an industry? Is it a case that I'm between jobs and am looking to get some experience and meet other people? So what I would suggest is really focus on joining a handful of networking opportunities. There are all kinds of events. As you mentioned, there are professional associations, there are trade associations, there are events within specific companies, there are all kinds of meetups you'll find on Eventbrite. Also, what I would suggest is that people look a bit outside kind of the direct A to B approach, because you may be very focused on, like, I want to work for these 5 companies, I need to connect with these people. But I guess what I found from my own experience in terms of career direction, and also with a lot of the newcomers to Canada I've worked in, is sometimes they're overlooking other opportunities and kind of judging the book by its cover and jumping to conclusions a bit without considering that when you're networking with people, what you don't know is you don't know really who the people are. You don't know where they were. You don't know where they're going. You also don't know who else they know or who they could become. So I would make sure that people aren't discounting certain people because they're not the right title or not right in the right job area. One thing that I've found in the last couple of years of professional networking, both online and in person, is some of the best networkers are small business people. A lot of them have tremendous networks. They have to go through professional networking because they're looking for potential employees, customers, suppliers. They're looking to build brand visibility. And a lot of those small business people are among the best networkers that I have met in my career. And for people who are generally used to working in large organizations like I was, it was an area that I was kind of overlooking. But I've actually learned a lot in terms of networking strategy and building relationships and building rapport by watching what some of the small business people are doing. And there's all kinds of organizations, networking organizations. BNI is one. I actually do networking in Toronto, but one of the best networking organizations I've actually joined is actually in Glasgow, Scotland. And because of the pandemic, I've been able to actually join this group and found some really interesting business opportunities, collaboration opportunities, and I'm actually doing a workshop on a networking training with the head of the Revitalized Business Club next month, who I met, who actually leads this networking group in Scotland. So you never know by reaching out. The pandemic has forced us to go online, but there's so many interesting people that we can meet, including, of course, yourself, Stephen. So there we go.
Yeah, I really like that point you made. It's not just your direct network, right? You don't limit yourself to a specific type of person or people who work at a specific company or a group of companies. But again, it's not your network, but it's their network as well. So you want to talk to as many people as possible. And when I talk to job seekers, when I talk to people who are just looking for new opportunities, I tell as many people as possible what you're looking for, right? And be specific in it because, yes, you're talking to people, using myself as an example, you're talking to someone who's not a project manager, but they're in finance or something, but they work a lot with the project manager because they work on the financial side, for example. So again, be specific in kind of what what the type of opportunities you're looking for, but don't be too specific in the type of people you network with. Again, their network will become your network once you build those relationships with them.
Absolutely. I love to. It kind of goes back to being clear in terms of how other people can help you. I mean, one of my favorite sources for insightful business quotes is that movie from the '90s, Jerry Maguire. So you remember the scene where Jerry says to his client, "Help me help you,"
Mm-hmm.
and that's really uh, because when you're networking, it's what I found is the people who are most successful are those who are givers. They're people who are generous networkers. They're not going in with an inventory of their own, personal priorities. They're there to see how they can help, and you'd be surprised at the number of ways people can be of assistance that have nothing to do with their titles or income or the jobs that they have. But being a generous networker is really one of the keys to success, and trying to find as many people as you can possibly help.
Yeah, definitely. Give before you take.
Yeah,
Before.
well, yeah, and a lot of it, and there's somebody else used an example about the size of the ask as well. This is something I know some of the newcomers I work with to Canada get tripped up on, and it's whether difference between like a 5 cent and a 50 cent ask. So a 5 cent ask is could you tell me a bit about your company and maybe send me some information about Lockheed Martin, and tell me is there some webinars that you could tell me about. It's a small ask. It's people who are job seekers sometimes make the mistake and do the 50 cent ask is, Stephen, could you please introduce me to the missile decommissioning senior director, and put in a good word for me? Well, we've just met,
Yeah.
and yes, that from the work you've done, but it's way too much of an ask first. People need to be willing to give and build rapport and build a relationship before asking too much, and that's something I've seen where people can get tripped up a bit
Yeah.
in the networking process.
Yeah, absolutely. Build that relationship first before you ask someone for a favor, right? Because people
Absolutely.
connect with me, they ask me first message they send me is help me find a job. And it's just I don't even know who you are, what your skills are. I don't know what you're looking for. I don't know how I can help you, right? So again, spend time, build those relationships, share what what you're doing, what you're looking for, and so then the other person can help you find you the right opportunity.
Yeah, people really want to see that you've put in the homework, you've done the research. There's so many assets, sources of information available, which are fairly accessible regardless of what country or market you're in. So people, once you've demonstrated that you're willing to do the work, then people are more likely to want to help you.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Before we go on to our next topic here, I just want to highlight some comments here. A lot of people saying hi. So saying hi to Sri. Mariah says hi to both of us here.
Right.
Hello to Craig. Thank you for supporting all of my live streams. And then we got Dave Buck here. Again, thank you for all the support. Let's see here. Oh, we got Kenneth again. Kenneth, I really appreciate your comments. Your comments absolutely always stand out in the live streams. Andrew, thank you for the birthday wish. And then, we got Maria here. Yep, saying hi. Maria's close to me. She's up in Sacramento, about a couple hours away here.
Where my aunt used to live. Yep.
And then just last comment here from Dave. Help me find a job. It's again too much pressure. Like, how am I going to help you if we literally just met?
100%, Dave.
All right, so let's move on to our next topic here. I get this question a lot because my LinkedIn headline says "Shy introvert becoming a public speaker." So a lot of people ask me, "How do you network as an introvert? I don't like talking to people. I don't like going to events. How can I network as an introvert?"
Sure. Well, I've got a couple of friends of mine, one in particular who's actually set up an introvert academy, and she's an expert in terms of helping introverts shine and succeed. And we can provide some more if people want to reach out to me. I'm happy to share some information about her services. What I've learned from speaking with introverts and speaking with my friend who runs the Introvert Academy is Networking is actually really um, it's actually a great opportunity for introverts, and the introvert skills in a lot of way play very well in the networking space. So let me explain a bit. So some of the skills that introverts possess are patience. They tend to be, again, we're making generalizations about half the population. So, take this with a grain of salt. Tend to be fairly good at researching, good at asking questions, tend to be very good listeners. And those are all definitely attributes that come in handy in a networking situation. In some cases, for the introverts, is finding people who may be open to having a conversation. What I've learned is for some introverts, it's more a case of their social battery tends to get drained a little bit faster than those who are more extroverts. So it's more again strategy, uh, picking a plan. A lot of networking events, you'll find people who are in business development, who are in marketing, entrepreneurs who always have a story to tell and are really keen to meet new people. Those are good people for the introverts to talk to. And you're right. With networking, it's really about building relationships. Another friend of mine who's knows a lot about it, networking, is in the automobile business. Talks about business card Santas who are there with their sack of business cards. And again, this is kind of pre-COVID, but just trying to get the business cards in as many people's hands as possible. Well, maybe that's great for the holidays, but in terms of professional networking, that's what you're trying to do. It's really about building relationships. And some of those really come down to one-on-one conversations. So use the skills you've got, the research skills, the questioning skills, the patience, the willingness to go into having deep conversations. People value that in a lot of cases. And networking is a really good way to, again, build your career, build relationships, and it's really suited for introverts.
Yeah, I really like the perspective that you brought it from, because I think as an introvert, you're shy and just wanting to talk to people and have that loud voice, but you turned it on the other perspective, where as an introvert, you're better at listening and taking in those thoughts and processing and having that kind of those type of conversations. And you're talking about the kind of social battery as well. So what I like to tell people at a, if you're a complete shy introvert, you're going to a networking event, bring a friend with you, and then set like a very small goal. Like both of us will talk to 5 people, and then we'll decide if we want to leave or not, right? And you don't just go talk to 5 people and just check the list. And no, again, have those deep conversations with people. Utilize those introvert skills that you said, Brent, listening, asking deep questions, doing research, things like that. And again, you'll start get a little more comfortable as you get along, right? Maybe the next future event, you go talk to 10 people. Again, you don't want to be that business card standard. I really like that analogy. I'm going to steal that from you, Brent.
Yeah.
But again, it's all about building those relationships. It's the quality of those relationships, not the quantity of relationships.
Oh, exactly. And people who go into a networking event, whether it's a company event, a trade show, a conference, online, offline, um, and even if you're only talking to 3 people or 5 people, they also know hundreds of people. So it's not a case of, oh, I only met 3 people out of the 300 at the conference. You met the 3 people, but if you created a good impression, brought value, were a generous networker, they've actually opened the door potentially to hundreds of other people. So in some ways, it's actually a smarter way of the network than trying to get your business card in the hands of um, hundreds of people and them not remembering you because you only spoke to them for a few seconds. So it's
Yeah,
kind of the old, quality versus quantity approach.
absolutely. And again, it's you don't have to be the loudest voice in the room, right? You don't need everyone. You don't need to meet every single person at a networking event. And again, the key point we made earlier is their network becomes your network. So you just have to talk to 3, 5, 10 key people and be clear on, hey, this is what I can do. This is what I'm looking for. This is how I can help others. And by making
Yes.
that a little more by making that memorable. That when they talk to someone, like, oh yeah, this person is a project manager at this company, and this the person I just talked
Yeah.
to was looking for opportunities. I can connect those two together. Again, it's just doing your preparation, doing your research beforehand, and being ready to talk about who you are, how you can contribute, and what you need help with, and by targeting those key people really makes it a lot easier.
Yeah, and a lot of it's just it's building rapport is kind of one of the tricky things. So it's having in your back pocket, just mentally, um, a few general questions to ask. How do you know the organizers of the event? What brings you here tonight?
Mhm.
When I heard suggested for me a couple of weeks ago was, what was the most exciting thing that happened to you in the past week? And one of my friends who's an expert networker says that just opens so many doors because everyone's got something exciting they want to talk about. And the more you get other people to talk, the more likely they are to probably remember you.
Yeah, absolutely. And that second one you mentioned, that's my go-to line if I have no idea what else to talk about, because we're all here for a reason, right? So it's good to know that why are you here? When I was helping out at San Jose State as a alumni mentor, and I have a table of 10 students who are there to network and build some professional development skills. So I asked each of them, why are you here? Right? Why did you decide to come to this event? Half of them say, "Oh, I need it for class credit." And I'm like, "Okay, no, give me another reason. Give me like the actual reason why you're here. What kind of questions do you have?" Right? And again, it's just a good icebreaker. It's a good conversation starter. And someone says, "Hey, I just want to get better at networking and learning how to get to people." I'm like, "Hey, this is great practice that we're doing right here. Right? Getting to know to talk to someone."
Well, one question I will mention that people ask, a couple of them that they ask, which again can trip people up. One is, what do you do? And I know in North American settings, that's something we seem to have as a go-to, but it can sometimes be a bit demoralizing as a question to ask. Um, there's people are more than their careers, more than
Mhm.
what their job titles are. So those are ones I would tend to avoid. The other one is, where are you from? And
Mhm.
we both live in very multicultural cities, whether Greater Toronto area or the Bay Area, where people are from all over the world. Um, I tend to ask more, do you have a question I would prefer to ask is, do you have family in the city? And the reason that tends to work is because people will either say, yes, I'm here, I'm living with my brother-in-law because I'm new to the city. Oh, my wife and our family just moved here. Or, no, I actually don't know anyone here. I've just moved. And that actually opens up more questions. Asking where people are from can sometimes have negative
Mhm.
connotations. They may give you an answer which you're not able to respond to, and it's just the where are you from question, at least in North America, is one I would tend to avoid. Like you'll find out very quickly, um, once you start talking to them and asking other questions, you'll be able to connect the dots and figure out what city they live in. So that's just uh, my 2 cents worth.
Mhm. Yeah, highlighting a comment here from Andrew
Some
on
people
why
are
you should
unemployed,
ask,
absolutely.
what do you do? Some people are unemployed. I like to spin that question into asking, what are you passionate about? Because sometimes it is their
Yes,
job, but sometimes we have our side hustle here. I do the career
yes,
coaching, you do your networking for newcomers, Brent Canada. So again, then when people start talking about their passions, they get a little more excited. They open up a little more. The passion comes out of their voice. So that's my go-to, asking them, what is your passion, rather than what do you
yes,
do.
absolutely. That's really good advice, Stephen.
So as we wrap up here in the last 5 minutes here, I just want to focus a little more on the Canada piece. That's what
Sure.
your specialty is,
Yes.
Brent. So kind of talk a little bit more about networking in Canada. What are the challenges? What are some tips that you can share? I have your links here that I can put on the screen as well, as you mentioned them.
Yeah, absolutely. So a lot of the people I work with, again, are new to Canada. They are recent immigrants. The ones I feel that I can help the most are those who are economic immigrants. So in Canada, the selection process, which the federal government leads in most cases, Quebec does have their own autonomy in terms of immigration system. Again, are choosing people who tend to be very educated, could speak one of the Canada's two official languages, either French or English. have a lot of relevant experience. But the challenge for them in a lot of cases is not understanding Canadian business culture, and not having a professional network. So those are areas that I run trainings for, coaching for individuals, and also have a podcast, and do webinars as well. Really helping them understand Canadian business culture, because there are nuances, just as there are in any culture. There are nuances at the country level, at the provincial level. So if you're doing business in California versus Texas versus Missouri, there are definite differences. Same in Canada. There's also differences from urban, rural. Also, the corporate culture and people's own personal background and experiences. We talked about introverts versus extroverts. So those are all areas that we need to talk about. And again, the number one challenge we found for new Canadians is a lack of a professional network. So really what I'm trying to do is help them get their careers on track, whether they're going with their plan A and wanting to continue the career that they had outside of Canada, or they're looking at plan B and potentially looking at being a solopreneur, to put bread on the table, roof over their heads. Because in a lot of cases in regulated professions, there is extra work or education that they may be required in a whole range of professions if they want to continue that type of work or profession, regardless of which province they've decided to settle in.
Yeah, so a lot of great information that Brent has, especially for those who are new to Canada, immigrating to Canada, just trying to build that professional network. What's the best way for people to get in touch with you, Brent?
Best way to do is like actually to follow me on my company page on LinkedIn. So that there we are. So Brent Canada Experiences. That's probably the best way to contact me. Follow me there. There's also my website, which is networkingfornewcomers.ca. And you'll also find information there in terms of the YouTube page I have with videos I've done and podcasts. And also, I'm going to be running a networking workshop in middle of October. If people are interested, with one of my collaborators from Glasgow, Scotland, who's an expert on networking, and we're going to talk about that. And we're also going to talk about international business cultures and how to adapt as a newcomer in a new place. So happy to speak with any of your viewers and have a conversation with them.
Yeah, and thank you, Brent, for sharing your two resources here. Make sure to go to Brent's website right here, networkingfornewcomers.ca, because it's a Canadian website. And then again, his LinkedIn business page for Brent Canada Experiences is right here. So make sure you go follow his page and connect with Brent as well. So we covered a lot today about networking, talking about how to network in a new place, having a specific strategy. One key point we covered is someone's network becomes your network as well. So spend that time, build those relationships with people. Don't be too specific in your networking or in your target search for companies or people to talk to. And then again, we talked about at the end here with networking as an introvert, it's not as challenging as you think. Again, use your introvert skills as a good listener, doing your research, asking good questions. And again, being a little more specific in what you're looking for and how you're helping others really goes a long way, because again, their network becomes your network. And by sharing what you are doing, what you need help with more people, with certain people, they can reach out to their network as well. Any final thoughts? Any final words?
I would just say that I wish I was more active in terms of professional networking earlier in my career, and had taken advantage of some of the skills and techniques that are available. There are a lot of resources out there around professional networking. It is a key career skill for people to have. It's not something optional to do, and it's also not something just to do when you're looking for a job.
Mm-hmm.
Professional networking is something that will bring all kinds of new relationships to you, opportunities to collaborate that you never imagined, and will just make your professional career much more fulfilling. It's amazing that the great people out there that are just waiting to meet you.
Yeah, absolutely. I was nodding my head when you said don't network when you're looking for a job, because when you're looking for a job, you can't spend 2 months trying to network while we're trying to find, trying to make some money, right? We're going paycheck to paycheck. You're trying to look for a new job again. you want to be networking all the time. And again, the more people you talk to, the more people you share with, looking for how you can help, what you need help with, the more people that can help you.
So it's a long game, and it's something to start on today if you're not doing it already.
Yeah, absolutely. So thank you everyone for watching. Thank you for all the comments here. A lot of people watching, sharing, saying that they're watching here. And again, Brent, can't do these live streams without my guests. So thank you so much for sharing your insights. Here's his company page again. Make sure you follow that and get in touch with Brent if you're interested in immigrating to Canada, or if you're in Canada, just trying to figure out how to build your professional network there.
Stephen, thank you so much for the opportunity. Thank you for all the questions from your listeners, and I really appreciate it. It was an honor to be on your show.
Yeah, thank you so much again, Brent. And last comment here from Yvonne. Thank you. Have a great weekend as well. Thank you, Brent. Thank you, Yvonne. Thank you, everyone, for watching here. Have a great weekend, everyone. I'll talk to you all next week.
Thank you.